Well, welcome back to the All Out Club podcast, the first one of this season, and we're mixing it up from the normal NRL content, and we've got a very special guest here today. She's a three-time Olympian, silver at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, which was in 2021, funny enough, but she's also a two-time silver Commonwealth Games medalist. It's none other than Mariafe Artacho Del Solar.
Was
that very good with the
That was actually really
pronunciation?
good. And you didn't even ask me before the show how it's pronounced.
I didn't.
Oh, did me?
I feel like I had a
No.
good feeling how it was.
Yeah, no, very well
That was
done.
good, Coop.
I did that
start.
deliberately as well.
As you said, usually an NRL podcast, but a bit refreshing to get on other sports, talk about that.
Something very different.
Something very different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know you're surrounded by sort of Tigers fans, so
Yeah.
it mustn't be too fun.
I did get told to say up the Tigers, even though they came last.
Yeah.
Well, you got some good recruits coming next year, as we discussed
Yes.
off podcast. So
They can't get the spoon 4 years in a row.
Yeah,
Famous
surely.
last words,
I know,
yeah.
right? But never say never with the Tigers.
Yeah. Obviously, like, it's sort of hard to ask any other question than just coming off the Olympics. How was it?
Yeah, Paris. It was actually a pretty cool experience. I don't know if you guys saw, but the beach volleyball venue was just
Outstanding, wasn't it?
incredible.
Yeah.
It was by far the best venue of all sports, not being biased, but it was just so magical playing in front of the Eiffel Tower. So special, and all games were sold out. So the crowd was amazing. It was electric. The energy was so fun to play in there. So as soon as I saw how the venue was going to be like when they announced Paris, and you got to see where beach volleyball was going to be set up.
I wouldn't have believed it.
Yeah, it was just like a dream come true playing in front of the tower, like the Eiffel Tower.
That's
It
also
was
for like
so
spectators. That would have been
Yeah.
first thing I would have bought as well.
cool. Yeah.
Which is,
I think that's why it was sold out. Like, I don't know if everyone went for the beach volleyball specifically. I'm sure they
would
did.
have as well.
yeah.
But yeah, the venue was just unreal, and especially night games. Oh,
Yeah.
The sparkling tower is just so beautiful.
And it wasn't obviously the result that you wanted. You ended up coming fourth.
Yeah.
You breezed through the pool matches, and then you came up against Brazil. Was it in that semi-final match?
Yeah, we
Brazil?
came up with Brazil, world number one. They've been super consistent the whole season. And we always, because we actually play the same teams throughout the year all the time. We know each other's games so well.
Yeah.
And we've played that team numerous times, and we always have the same type of matches, like 3-set games.
Yeah, close ones.
Close battles. So, and I got a lot of actually messages after that game being like, oh my God, that game was the best game of the Olympics.
It was
Like,
so entertaining.
it was such great volleyball from both teams. It could have gone either way. And that's why kind of after the game, yeah, obviously it was disappointed not making it to the final. But sometimes that's sport. And even though you give it your all, you don't always win. And so I kind of left that game being like, I'm okay. Like, literally left everything behind.
Yeah.
And it didn't turn our way. But you're kind of like, in a way, you're like, wow, that was such a good game to be a part of. Like, I was so,
Yeah, I think the
like, it
same
was so fun.
for spectators as well. It's like, that was probably the best game I saw in terms of entertainment as well.
Yeah, it was great rallies, I think. It was definitely a good one to be part
Best environment you've played in? I know obviously the Eiffel Tower is right behind you, but
Yeah.
everywhere you've played, is that the best?
Yeah, definitely would have to be one of the top. I've played in Hamburg. In 2019, World Champs was in Hamburg, and the stadium was the same, packed. The crowd was so electric, so fun. The energy was pumping. And I remember we played the bronze medal match in that stadium, and it was so good. That time we won. So.
Yes.
Well, we got the bronze. But that's probably one of my other venues that I love playing in.
And it's the Olympic Games, right? Everyone's up and about for it. There's a buzz around the city, and I'm
Yeah.
sure as you go back to the Olympic Village, everyone's getting around you as you and your teammate Taliqua Clancy. What was the Olympic Village like? Because I saw there was a photo of you and Carlos Alcaraz, so you're mixing with
Yes.
different people from different sort of countries.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
Yeah, and like the village is just another part of the whole experience, right? You get to see many athletes from around the country, and like if you're too famous, sometimes you don't get to stay there. Obviously, like the US basketball team for security reasons.
Yeah.
But I was actually surprised that Rafael Nadal and Carlitos stayed in the village. For once I found out, it was my goal to get a photo with them, and obviously because I speak Spanish too, I was like, oh, I'm in here, like. And I saw Carlitos walk by himself. He was catching the bus, and I was like, "Can I just get a photo?" And he was so sweet. He was actually so lovely.
I'm
so,
sure
so
he remembers
lovely.
you.
I know, right?
Who are you most starstruck by?
I think those two.
Those
Like,
two?
I think I had a goal of getting a photo with those two.
Yeah.
Also, Lo Maha, the rugby sevens girl from US.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like,
She's so good.
She got
I'm-
TikTok famous
oh
real
my
quickly.
god! So
yeah.
I actually started following her probably like 8 months out from the Olympics because I just love her content. She's so funny and
Yeah.
she makes great content. So I actually messaged her and I was like, I have to meet you. Like, I'll see you in Paris. I have to meet you. And she replied and she was like, yes, of course. Like, I'd love to. And it was my mission to get a photo with her. And it was actually, I think, the last day. And I still hadn't had a chance because our games were just so late.
Yeah,
So we wouldn't get back to the village till like 1 a.m. sometimes.
Yeah.
So I randomly went to the bakery because the village had a bakery where
The muffins? I heard a lot about
the
the
muffins were amazing. They were in the dining hall, but they had this fresh bakery where they would bake fresh croissants and baguettes every day. So I went there and then I randomly turned around and I was like, Lo, it's you. Like, I finally saw
was
you.
up.
Like, it wasn't even like an organized meetup. It was just like, yeah, it was
Spur of
just
the moment,
great
yeah.
timing. And she was like, and I was like, oh my God, gotta get a photo. So I got a photo with her and that was amazing. So her and then Carlitos and Rafa, I got a photo with those two and that was pretty cool. They were like my top three.
How was the opening ceremony? You would have seen so many
Yeah, I didn't
people.
go.
You
Didn't
didn't
go?
go. That's right.
Got COVID.
Yes.
We won't tell anyone.
That's a
Yeah,
great
that's
area.
not a live podcast.
I got sick, so I wasn't allowed to go.
It was quite different to previous, like the marches and
Yeah.
opening ceremonies, because this one was on a boat. It was obviously pissing down rain as well.
Yeah.
Everyone got
Whoa.
drenched.
So in a
Few
way, I was
people
like,
would have gotten
why didn't-
sick
If you
as
weren't
well.
sick
Yeah.
before, you were getting sick then.
I know. So I wasn't too mad that I
No.
didn't.
I think I liked it on the boats. Like, it was a bit different. And
It was a bit
Yeah.
different.
I think it was cool.
Do you have a favourite marching sort of story? I know I did a podcast with Lee Bottomede, who was an Australian hockey player and who went on to coach the USA team. And he
Yeah.
has LeBron James and Kobe Bryant next to him while he's marching.
Yeah.
Do you have a favourite story when you march?
Thinking back, I don't think I've been to one open ceremony.
Oh,
But I've been to closing. And closing, I've met... no, actually, I didn't meet them in the closing, but in Rio, I met Draymond Green and Kevin Durant.
Okay.
That was pretty cool.
There's some big
So
names.
I
There's
got a
some
photo
big
with Oh,
boys
and
as
Usain
well.
Bolt in the dining hall in Rio.
Oh, there's your...
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
There's the,
So
There's
not
a few
nec-
name drops.
Yeah. So not necessarily in the open ceremony or closing ceremony, but you just see them around, and that's what is so cool about the
Yeah.
Olympics. Like, you just see these incredible athletes just being around, and obviously me being a fangirl.
They're
Yeah.
pretty chill dudes as well, from what I can gather.
Yeah, they are. They were just happy to take a photo. I mean, they probably expect that, right? If you're going to stay in the village, you're going to
Yeah.
expect to be bombarded. I remember when I saw Rafael, he was being bombarded and he wasn't too happy. And I can imagine. Whereas I was happy to get Carlos by himself, so he was in a better mood.
yeah,
I think Rafa was just so over it.
He'd get a lot.
Yeah.
I guess we should probably talk about your story a bit. I'm sure you've talked about it a lot on different podcasts, but I know I'm sort of familiar with it, but obviously migrated to Australia when you were 11.
Yeah, I came
From
with my
Peru?
mum. Yeah, when I was 11.
What was that transition like? Like, obviously it would have been tough. Manly?
Yeah, I moved to
I moved
Sydney.
to
I moved
Manly,
with
yep.
my mum, just my mum, and I didn't actually speak a word of English. So in a way, it was a bit of a challenge not being able to communicate because I'm not, I guess, the quiet, shy girl. I'm usually love to be around people and meeting new people and talking and finding their story. So that was probably a bit of a challenge. But to be honest, I was so excited to come to Australia. Obviously, having family in Australia already, I had an idea of what it was about. But yeah, I found sport actually a way to communicate for me. And I came in year 6 and I straight away signed myself up in every single sport, even netball. And I've never had any idea about netball. Like, I was bouncing the ball and chucking it across
active.
all
You
the
were running with the
zones.
ball.
Yeah, and I was doing
Hyperactive.
everything that it's not allowed in netball. But I quickly learned it and became a goalkeeper because I was able to jump from volleyball. So I found my way of, I guess being a part of a community, being a part of a team, a way of feeling like I belong. And I belong part of a team. And that was really fun. And I guess that's how I then quickly learned how to communicate and, friends and...
And you picked up beach volleyball on Manly beaches, just sort of Was it your brother who
my
was
brother
playing?
actually, yeah, my brother signed us up for a four-a-side social tournament in Manly. Him and his mates were like, yeah, my 11-year-old sister is coming and she plays. And he's 18 years older than me, so he's quite a bit older. And his friends were like, what? She's 11. Like, can she
I wonder
actually
if they
play?
saw the vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
This girl's going to be Olympian.
Very humble beginnings here.
So that's actually the first time I fell in love with the sport down in Manly Beach. I played that after playing that tournament. I was like, this is so fun. Like,
Yeah.
you get to touch the ball. Obviously, it was four-a-side, but normally it's only two, so you get to touch the ball so much more than indoor. And yeah, I was like, this is so fun.
Sometimes it surprises me, at least when I go to the Gold Coast, I'd love to see just beach volleyball all along the beach because, I mean, we have the coast.
We have beautiful beaches.
Yeah.
But some beaches are actually like illegal to bring a ball and play. And
Which
set
I
up-
was about to get to, which is so frustrating.
It's so silly. Even Bondi Beach, where the Olympics were held in 2000, where the Aussie girls won gold.
Yeah.
There was a point where it was illegal to bring a ball down to the beach to play volleyball. And I'm like, that's part of our culture.
Yeah,
like,
you should
what
be
are
able
you
to lift that.
doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
That's
don't
something
know.
that's got to change.
Moving to Adelaide when you're 18 to go to the Australian Institute of Sport. That's a big change for you. You were only in the country 7 years ago. Right?
Yeah.
And then you move on again. You make your way up to 22 years old. You go to Rio. You don't win a game in Rio. Take us back to that sort of territory for you because you go home sort of in that sort of time frame for yourself as well.
Yeah, so I moved to Adelaide after school, after I finished high school. First time, I guess, moving away from home. First time moving away from my mum. And that was really hard because mum and I were like a little team. We were...
Power couple.
Yeah, best friends. Obviously, coming to Australia, just us, was quite challenging, especially for mum. Just bringing an 11-year-old, you know, at 50 years of age, starting from zero. So that was quite challenging for her. So we kind of like became a little team. So moving away from her was very, very difficult. When I first moved to Adelaide, I was almost physically in Adelaide, but emotionally in Sydney still. And that made it harder for me to detach. So, yeah, multiple calls, like me crying, being like, I don't know if I can do this. It's just so hard. Like mum was super supportive and knew that I was there for a reason. And so she constantly brought me back to my why, like why I was in Adelaide. I wanted to achieve this dream and I had to do it in Adelaide, like I couldn't do it anywhere else. So, you know, it was huge to have mum as a support network there. But yeah, I was in Adelaide for 8 years.
It's quite a big stint, isn't it?
Yeah, part of the national program there. And yeah, I guess that taught me a lot. It made me so strong because I obviously went through so many highs and lows.
Would you recommend that pathway to anyone like coming through as an athlete?
Well, actually now the women's program is based here.
Oh,
so
is it?
yeah,
Okay.
in 2020 we moved the women's program down to up to Brisbane, which was amazing. I think it just needed a bit of a change. Like I mean, we're in Adelaide for a bit long, and I mean Queensland, it makes sense, right?
Yeah, it does make
The
sense.
sun, the beaches,
Yeah.
you know, bring it up.
And the men's actually still over there, but yeah, the women's is based here, which it's so much better.
Back to Rio 2016, I imagine lots of family would have been there to watch you, being in South America.
My whole family came, which was awesome. Yeah, it was just next door, so everyone came, and I had some of my aunties and uncles come as well, and their first ever experience of them watching me play
That
was
would
the
have been
Olympics. So it was such a first time event for them. And Rio, we played in Copacabana, so beach volleyball over there is like a religion.
Yeah.
Like almost just as big as football over there. Soccer.
That's not a bad first Olympics.
Yeah, so it was great experience. Even though we didn't win a game, it was just the experiencing what an Olympics was like and getting to see the teams that made it all the way to the podiums and what that was like. And so after that, it made me come home super motivated to know that the next Olympics in Tokyo, I was like, I'm going to be in the podium and I'm going to work my ass off to be there.
Well, it clearly worked because 2017 you partnered with Clancy, if that's correct. And I did some research. You podiumed 21 times in that first year, broke an Australian record. And then 2 years later, you won the Commonwealth Games silver medal. And then, of course, the Tokyo medal in silver in Tokyo. So it's quite the achievement, really, isn't it?
Yeah, we knew we had something special, T and I. Like, we actually got the opportunity to play back in 2012 at a junior world champs where we got bronze. So straight away we knew we had something there. And then we both kind of went separate ways with separate partners. We both went to Rio with separate partners. And then, the opportunity again came up in 2017 to partner up. And the first 3 events that we played internationally, we won. So we're like, okay, we we still got something here,
We got
which is
something.
which is
We're jealous.
which was pretty cool. So yeah, we continued that success, which was amazing, and then continued that success through Tokyo, which was pretty cool. Very, very special to win that silver medal. Yeah.
And then you win the silver medal, and of course, COVID happens, and you have to come home and isolate for 2
my
weeks.
God.
What was that experience like? Because you have a
Honestly?
silver medal in your hand.
Weird timeline.
Yeah, you have a silver medal in your hand, and you're in an
yeah.
apartment room. All you want to do is go
So-
home and celebrate.
So depressing. Especially like it's such a high, right? From the Olympics, you're in such a high, and all you want to do is just celebrate with your friends and family. And then you get locked up in a room where you can't see a single human for 2 weeks. Literally, you can't even see the person who's delivering the food to you because they drop it. You have to wait 5 seconds, and then you can open your door. It was so depressing. And so you're in such a high, and then it's so anticlimactic. Like you can't celebrate, especially because life moves so quick.
So much FaceTimes.
Literally, the 2 weeks after the Olympics is like the time where you can network and you get to celebrate and, share the news and blah, blah, blah. And then you just can't.
Yeah.
And it's so bad. And we were actually pretty lucky. We got put obviously in separate rooms, but in the, the ensuite, like one of the biggest rooms in the Stanford in the city. And so Jack and all the fam would just walk by the riverfront and wave. I'm like, oh my God, this is so sad.
I think I did that for my brother when he was staying. Just like he was just.
It just waved. Yeah, it was honestly the worst. And you saw everyone else just going back to the countries and celebrate. I'm like,
such a weird for your 3 Olympics. The first one lots of family, and then the second one's just polar opposite.
yeah, nothing.
And then the next one you're in front of the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, and so
Different experiences.
cool to have. I had my Jack and my sister there, so that was pretty cool. And some friends came too, which was really fun.
I saw Jack was loving it on his Insta stories and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
yeah.
Mariafe, beach volleyball, especially for the women's side, we've seen a lot of development in women's sport. In cricket, AFL, we have such big competitions, of course, in the NRL. Where has beach volleyball come from as a sport, particularly in the women's side of it? And how much has it grown to the point where yourself, Clancy, go walking down the street for such, and you're getting recognised, to do all these brand and endorsement deals? And how far has the sport come to the point where it is now professional lifestyle for yourself?
Yeah. I wish we would walk down the street and get huge endorsements, maybe like other sports.
I'm sure you do.
We're not quite there yet. But no, it's definitely come a long way. Like back in 2000 after the girls won the gold medal, obviously that was huge for the sport. And then, what was it, 20 years later?
Yeah, 2021 yourself.
Yeah. Then when Tina won the next Olympic medal, that obviously was a huge boost for the sport as well.
Did you watch that 2000s game?
No. I had no idea what the Olympics was.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
Peru.
7 years old in Peru. Yeah, I didn't know what the Olympics was back then. Obviously, never came to Peru. So
They're still around the game, aren't they?
Nat and Carrie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nat. Has obviously lives in Brisbane. Has quite a big involvement, and same Carrie in Manly as well in Sydney. Yeah. But what was I saying?
Just so
the
sport's grown. Yeah.
No, it has definitely. And every time I go and see a school's cup or nationals, there's so many kids playing, so many girls involved, which is so awesome to see. But then there is that point where they do reach 18 and then they stop, which is a shame, which happens quite often in
every sport.
Most sports. Yeah. So just I guess trying to find a way where the girls and boys, I guess, see a clear pathway where they can, they know that
Keep playing.
Yeah, keep playing, and there's a way of how they can get to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably one thing we can probably do better as a federation.
I think, when young athletes can't see a clear path,
Yeah,
that's sort of when they just sort of give up on their dreams.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. I feel like we have to talk about your clothing label.
Oh, yeah, Del Solar label.
Yes. Is that sort of something you've always wanted to do, or was it just a recent thing where you thought?
No, I've actually
love to
wanted
do
to do it
this.
for so many years, maybe 15 years since I started competing. I've always kind of wanted to make something for myself and start something.
Yeah.
And I've always just had a huge passion for fashion as well. And I found myself on tour wanting to wear something comfortable, but that was stylish. And back, now obviously it's a little bit more popular loungewear, but back when I started, there wasn't many options really, or nice, stylish options.
Yeah.
So I was like, why not? And so I just backed myself, and started it. Jack was a huge support behind it. So obviously the brand is more than just clothing. It stands for, having those values of being authentic and staying true to yourself, which is big values of mine. And so when you wear the clothing, it's like I can do anything I want and I can achieve anything I want, and while staying true to myself. So it's been so fun.
Great messaging.
It's been so fun. And at the moment we're kind of having a bit of a break and soon closing the website for 2024, but kind of rebranding a little bit and
picking it back up
bigger and better.
I'm sure we'll plug it when it picks back up then.
Well, I think mum and dad have some and my brothers, so we'll have to wear some on the podcast.
Yes.
Well, speaking of being true to yourself, you've said openly that legacy is more important to you and what you're known by rather than the medals. Where does that sort of mentality come from for you?
I'm huge on that. I'm huge on being a human first before, like, I'm Mariafe, the beach volleyball player, and I'm huge on, being authentic and staying true to yourself, and kind of winning or losing doesn't define you. It's not really about the medals and the championships. It's about the impact you have on people and what the legacy that you leave behind. And especially I see a lot nowadays, it's definitely gotten better, but a lot of kids who define and value themselves if they won or if they got an A+ in the studies, or and it's not about that. Like, it's always about giving your best and trying your best, but knowing that that's not why people love you. People love you because of who you are, but not what you do. And so I try to always spread that message because it's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's true.
Well, Nico Hines at the moment, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Nico
Hines.
Hines.
I saw his quote. I saw
he's
that on social
getting
media.
brutalized in the media at the moment because he can't win a football game in the finals. I mean, and he's trying to spread a message of positivity, and he's a great member of the community. So
I actually saw on social media something that he said. He's like, it doesn't define me. We can't win a rugby game.
Yeah. Came out yesterday, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I think earlier in the year he helped a gentleman on a bridge who was obviously going to do something terrible, which sort of goes to show like how great a person he is. And it's great to see like athletes sort of with that mindset.
Yeah, and like it happens so much. Like, people outside the field or the court are so quick to judge, and they don't know anything of what happens behind the scenes. Like, no one knows what happens behind a team or a individual player. Like, no one has any idea, but they're so quick to judge of, oh, he should have scored that, oh, he should have done better. Like, you have no idea. And that's why, like, athletes often have this expectation and pressure that they put on themselves, and then go through this spiral that sometimes go into depression because you can't control the expectations, and it's not like you can't control the expectations or the outcomes or the result, but it's about how you go about it. That is what you can control, like your training and your preparation and all the things you can do to aid the outcome, but you can't control the outcome. Like, you don't know if you're going to win or lose.
No, it's a great message.
But at the same time, it's not what defines you.
I think that's sort of why I love seeing, athletes with their own podcasts, and I wish other people would sort of listen to them because you sort of get a better idea about
who they are,
and
the personality behind the athlete.
And like, even a lot of them, they aren't even talking about sport even, which is great as well. I was just going to say 2032 Olympics, it's weird to even think that it's in our home city in Brisbane.
So cool.
What are your sort of opinions on sort of beach volleyball going into, I know it still feels like a long way away, but how are we aiming up in 2032 for beach volleyball?
Well, I've always said to myself, I'd love to make 5 Olympics. I've always just said that would be the grand plan for me.
Yeah.
And I still would love to. Sometimes life has other plans, who knows? But like, I haven't ruled out retiring or anything. I am having a little bit of a break at the moment, but like I still love the game, and I still love to go to LA and finish in Brisbane. I've always said I love to finish my career at home. I think that would just be like the icing on the cake. It would just be amazing.
In the home backyard.
Yeah, it would be amazing. And I think Brisbane's going to put on a great show.
Would you stay in the village if you were?
I think you have to.
You have to?
Yeah,
okay,
you have to. Yeah, as once you're kind of under the AOC, like, you have
security
to.
reasons.
Yeah,
That'd be a weird feeling, sort of just waking
Staying
up in your own
at home.
house.
Yeah.
I better go.
Yeah.
I'll have to play the Olympics.
Yeah.
Get the post.
That'd be funny.
And like, with the current health of beach volleyball, it's looking pretty positive, would you say?
Of what, sorry?
Current state of like beach volleyball in Australia. It's definitely growing in popularity.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think, definitely we've got huge potential both in the girls and boys teams.
Yeah.
To have, hopefully 2 teams there.
And who, we'll finish up on this probably, if you got anything else, Mick, but who makes the decision sort of, like yourself and Clancy have been at the last 2 Olympics, is that right, for Australia? What sort of process is it to get selected into that? Because you're the only 2 that goes for Australia, is that right? Or is there another partner?
This time we only qualified 1 female team.
Yeah.
You can have 2 per country, like 2
the men's had
females,
2 recently.
2 male teams. But unfortunately, our girls just missed out and didn't make it. But when you're a junior, they have more of, I guess, of a say on who gets to play with who. But then once you become a senior, you have a little bit more of a voice. And I guess you get to talk to each other if you want to play together. And then together with the staff, you kind of make a decision,
Yeah.
Right, I guess we'll finish on that. Thank you, Mariafe, for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I know you're very busy, so thank you for giving us our time.
No, my pleasure.
Absolutely
I thought I was going to get NRL questions. I was waiting. I'm ready.
I can get up a quiz right
No,
now.
I'm joking.
Where will the Tigers come next year?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll skip that one.
I think Benji Marshall.
Who wins this? Who wins the grand final this year? Are you back in Penrith for a 4-peat?
Look, they're just a great team.
They're very good.
I think they're just far above everyone else. So I think it'll definitely be a Penrith Storm final again.
Yep.
So I reckon they can definitely go again for.
So you're not picking a winner, just picking the
just
last
me.
2.
Yeah. I don't know. May the best team win.
Yeah, we'll leave it on a cliffhanger. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you,
really
Mariafe.
appreciate it.
Thank you.